Disturbing facts.
Be careful out there.
To know. Did you know that sometimes doctors use teeth of dead people to make dentures? And talking about teeth, there's a fish in South America that has human teeth, and for some reason it looks so creepy. If you ever see this cute frog, run away as fast as possible, because it's called a golden poison frog, and it has enough poison to kill 15 humans in a few minutes.
Damn.
Now,
what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new to the channel, man, if you guys don't know what we do, let me tell you guys what we do here, man. We break down scary, creepy videos on the net, on the web, man, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, watching the video entirely, hitting that post notification button, man, hitting that like button on each and every single video. I see you guys. Thank you guys for the support. Found this video for you guys today, seekers. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth. That's what we do out here, bro.
You were today years old when you found this out. If you're trying to get a splinter out and nothing's working, you can use glue to get it out. You can light birthday candles with spaghetti if it's too hot. You can use dental floss to slice perfect slices of cheese. While going on a trip, pack a couple clothespins to protect your toothbrush from touching a dirty counter. You can relieve the itchiness of a mosquito bite by putting a dab of clear nail polish on it.
Weird facts, okay.
Here are some crazy ocean facts that will blow your mind and will make you question whether you're ever gonna fucking go back in there. For starters, the discovery of monstrosities like this. The colossal squid. It don't look too bad there, Matt. Well, let me tell you that this measures the length of a school bus. This little guy is called a bearded fireworm. Don't be fooled by his cuteness. The thing from this little shit is so painful it makes you feel like your body is on fire while you're in the water. My brain! What kind of creation is that? Nature! You good? There is enough gold in the ocean for every single person on Earth to have 9 pounds of it. I can get my golden toilet. It is estimated that 2/3 of marine life is still to be discovered. With shit like the basking shark existing, what is down there? I'm uncomfortable. Everyone knows about the box jellyfish. You know, the thing that can make you go bye-bye in 2 minutes? Well, because of global warming, they're expected to appear in every beach all around the world. If you didn't know any of these, you have to share. Ian!
disturbing facts.
Be careful out there.
To know. Did you know that sometimes doctors use teeth of dead people to make dentures? And talking about teeth, there's a fish in South America that has human teeth, and for some reason it looks so creepy. If you ever see this cute frog, run away as fast as possible, because it's called a golden poison frog, and it has enough poison to kill 15 humans in a few minutes.
Damn.
Now, we all know a chainsaw is used to cut wood, right? But did you know it was invented to assist childbirth? And finally, there are still around 40 million slaves around the world, with India having the majority of them at 8 million, mostly kids.
That's insane, man. We still at this point in the world, bro, and there's still slaves. Come on, man. We have to do better. Basic human rights right there, man. Damn.
Albert Einstein was offered the presidency of Israel in 1952, but he declined. Weird history facts. No one knew about the last one.
Okay.
Queen Elizabeth I was so obsessed with sugar, her teeth started to rot while she was still alive. You can now check if a spyware has infected your phone. To find out, just click on share, slide to the right, and then select more. If you see an unknown app, delete it immediately. The first orange wasn't orange, but green, so why is it called an orange? In ancient Rome, the practice of using urine as a teeth whitener was common due to its ammonia content, which acted as a natural bleaching agent. Now you can check if your phone is real or fake by commenting KSOS with only small letters. If TikTok gives you a warning, your phone is real. Comment if you get a warning. In ancient Egypt, servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Before the last fact, follow us to get smarter. The ancient Egyptians used crocodile dung as both a contraceptive and a form of vaginal suppository.
Whoa, okay. I never knew they used freaking pee, man. That's teeth whitening. What were they doing back in those times, seekers? You're some weird and creepy timing, man.
Further that you look into dark history, you start to realize just how dark it really is.
Talk about it.
This is Lorleen Wallace. She was the first female governor of Alabama, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. Dark history for Lorleen was that, legally, doctors did not have to tell her. They only told her husband. Let that sink in. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, terminal cancer, and only her husband was told. Her husband decided not to tell her. Legally, he didn't have to. It was thought at the time that women's nerves were too fragile to be able to handle news like this, so only their husbands were told. I think we're probably going to cover this on the podcast, because this is actually a pretty in-depth story, if you want to listen. Basically, the way this story ends is that Lorleen, she does become governor. She runs, but she only lives through the first year of her term. She was never initially told she was dying.
So, I learned something?
Imagine you getting diagnosed with something, man, and somebody's just like withholding that information with you. And withholding that information from you because they think you're not strong enough to handle it. The laws back in the day, weird, Seekers. Absolutely weird.
Today, and I desperately need y'all to see this. I was today years old when I found out sea anemone can actually move. Yes, the same thing Nemo lived in and the same thing SpongeBob accidentally watched while trying to find a sports channel.
I remember that. Whoa. I
know I'm going to get that one comment, so I'm just going to say it. Sea anemone aren't plants, they're animals, and they're actually related to jellyfish. They're predators that feed on plankton, shrimp, and even small fish. They hunt by acting innocent and lulling their victim into a false sense of security before they snatch their soul and never let go. Basically, get out with more water. Most anemone have stinging tentacles that can clap fish, and some like the Dolphinia over here can cause severe pain in humans for months. The reason this one didn't cause a family reunion in the afterlife is because clownfish are covered in mucus that protects them from the sting. Also, clownfish poop provides nutrients for the anemone, so he basically lets them rock. But I knew all that, but I didn't know they could move. You can find this video on YouTube, or if you're SpongeBob, on C-Hub. Man said popcorn, behold the opposite. What a savage.
Here's something that you've been using wrong your whole life. Number 1, the top of your soda can, which is supposed to be a straw holder. You just have to turn it around and put your straw in the first hole. Okay, second one, I kind of feel like a disgrace to my people because I did not know this. We've all seen Chinese takeout boxes, right? But did you know that you're supposed to unfold them so they become disposable plates? Literally, it makes everything so much easier. But the next one really blew my mind. This is how you're supposed to peel an orange. You just cut the top and the bottom and one slice in the middle, and then it just unwraps perfectly. My mind is honestly blown by this. And now for the last one. If you've ever spilt your cereal, milk, or juice everywhere, that's because you're supposed to hold the carton upside down. This way, not as much liquid pours out all at once, and you won't spill. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a part 2, because there's so many of these life hacks out there.
I've been doing those things wrong. I never knew the freaking Chinese just they turned it to disposable plates. The more you know, man. I've always just thrown those joints away. We're gonna have to try that now, Seekers. Did you guys know that? I sure didn't.
Okay, so we have a Madeleine McCann update. Trust me, favorite this video right now so you can stay up to date with this story because this is insane! There's a lot to get through, so let's do it. Firstly, her family did actually release a statement in the end, essentially saying that they're really disappointed by this whole situation. And they also claim that photos of her when she was younger do actually exist, along with a birth certificate and hospital discharges. But apparently she took them before all of this started. As well, the family is saying that she doesn't take her medicine regularly and that she always wants to be famous, being a model and a singer. And that now she has over 1 million followers, she's gotten what she wanted. And that they do not want her to do the DNA test. Then, a few days later, this came out on her actual Instagram story. Because she did actually end up doing the DNA test, that she has big news and that there's lots to reveal. But not only are they looking to see if she's Madeleine McCann, but also testing her DNA to see if she is the missing twin, Livia. This is mad.
What? How the hell could she end up being like 2 missing people? Oh, we definitely gonna have to get some more updates on that case, man. Cause that one, we've seen those clips a couple of times, but that's freaking
Animal
mind-blowing
facts that
information.
will make you sound smarter. The immortal jellyfish is a life cheat code that lets a Benjamin Button itself when times get tough, making it basically, well, immortal. On the opposite side, the Mayfly is born with an expiration date of less than 24 hours. Every time the Earth does a 360, an entire generation gets Thanos. There was a shark that put entire nuclear submarines out of commission. And out of all the sharks that could have done it, it was the cookie cutter named after the holes they leave in dolphins, whales, and nuclear warships. The Arctic tern travels from north to south and back to the North Pole every year. In their lives, they'll travel the same distance as 3 round trips to the moon. They also experience 2 summers every year. Sharks can survive massive amounts of radiation, so instead of getting skin cancer, they just get suntanned. Not only are they cancer-proof, they're basically resistant to every disease known to man. Can't say the same about cheetahs because not only do they have one of the weakest immune systems, they're severely inbred, so they're really one pandemic away from getting straight up deleted. Zebras have the N-word pass because their skin's actually black. However, if you shave a tiger, its skin would still be striped. Goldfish can actually memorize things for 5 months. You probably know that parrots can talk, but elephants can be taught to mimic human speech, and one actually learned 5 words in Korean.
These are scary facts about popular childhood movies, Part 1. Up first, Claire Blandick, who played Auntie M in The Wizard of Oz, suffered from arthritis that was so painful that she committed suicide at the age of 85. She did her hair and makeup one final time and put on a nice dress before overdosing on sleeping pills. She then left a note that said, "I am now about to make the great adventure. I cannot endure this agonizing pain any longer. It's all over my body. I pray the Lord my soul to take. Amen." Next up, in the movie The Adventures of Milo and Otis, it's been reported that upwards of 20 cats were killed during the filming of the movie. There's a lot of speculation behind this because the film somehow got the approval of the American Humane Society, despite not having their officers present during filming.
What the hell? The American Humane Society?
This is Robert the doll,
deep
one of the
into
most
that
haunted
one.
dolls on the planet. So continuing the story from my last TikTok, the family actually locked Robert in the attic of the house because they were so afraid of him because he was moving and doing creepy shit. Didn't stop him. Apparently in the attic he would move stuff around, bang on walls, frighten the family. And kids walking by the neighborhood passing this is their house, would see Robert sitting right up here in the window staring at them.
Ooh.
People think that Robert was haunted because the person they gave it to, Gene, this guy right here, put some black magic or voodoo curse on the doll. When Gene died, a new family moved into the house and the daughter in the family was delighted to find Robert in the attic. But she claimed that Robert attacked her. And eventually, because Robert was too scared to keep in the home, he was donated to a museum. You're not supposed to take photos of Robert, and people have supposedly taken photos of him and been cursed. And people who work at the museum have supposedly seen Robert moving around in his case and even tapping on the windows and finding scratches inside of the case. What do you think? Would you visit Robert? I want to go and take a picture and see what happens, but he seems pretty chill.
No, not me. I ain't mess with that bad energy seekers.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A nice old lady told a CNA that she wanted to wear all white. When asked why, she said the man in black is here. She looked in the corner of the room. The CNA looked, but there was no one there. That's when the nurse came into the room. They asked her to describe what she was seeing, and she said he's in all black, and he's got a top hat on. And then she whispered, and his eyes are red. While her eyes moved across the room to directly behind the CNA, like she was watching him move closer to them. She died later that night, but it was unexpected. That room creeped the nurse and the CNA out for a long time after that.
What do you guys think about that story? I would creep out anybody. We're learning from these clips today, seekers. Picking up new info every day. Tap in with us. Edit. If y'all see any edits, man, y'all can call them out too.
Was camping in California when their son began to say something very creepy.
A family vacation that took a strange turn. They visited the same area where a missing woman was last seen.
He said that there was a woman staring at him in the field nearby.
Got goosebumps. He said she needs our help, but she's dead. And she's laying face down with her legs up. She can't talk to me, but she's over there. We need to go help her.
Creeped out by this, both of his parents went to go check the surrounding area, but
Okay.
found nothing.
He said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom. He kept saying, trust me, Mom.
After arriving home, Victoria posts about the experience to Facebook, and not long after she does so, the police came knocking at her door with photos of a woman named Sandra Johnson Hughes.
Whoa.
She had gone missing in the exact same location 1 year prior. Authorities would then proceed to exhaust their efforts searching the area over the next few days. Sadly, they would find nothing. If what this little boy was saying was true, experts believed that any evidence of her remains would be long gone by now. Could Caden have actually seen the ghost of this woman, or is his description merely a coincidence? What do you believe?
Black shirt,
Woo.
blue hair. He described stripes down to blue hair. Said she has a black shirt, blue jeans, and blue hair, Mom.
Hayden was able to identify 3 out of 4 pictures of her. Detectives went back to the meadow with the Gorba family to investigate, but the case remains open.
These are some extreme.
I think he really seen the ghost, because like, how did he like nail exactly what she looked like? And he named 3 out of 4 pictures of her, bro. So he definitely saw something, man. Spirit, ghost, something you can't explain. But he definitely saw something, man.
Extremely unsettling facts, and I've found all of these on Reddit. The Conjuring is one of the most influential horror movies of all time, and actually helped pave the way for a lot of other movies that were to come along in the future. But there was a lot of dark stuff that went on behind the scenes. After they had finished their first day of filming, actress Vera Farmiga had noticed something very off. She had 3 very large claw marks on her body, much larger than any human could have possibly done. And when she was asked about it, she said, "There's no way that I could have left this and not known." And this further adds on to the urban legend of this movie actually being cursed. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the best known horror movies ever, but there's so much more behind this movie that I didn't tell you. Like the fact that the farm that this movie was filmed on actually had around 500 animal corpses underneath it. And where there's corpses, there's going to be a stench. And it got to be so unbearable that it got to the point that whenever the director would yell cut between takes, whether it was an actor, whether it was someone that was working on the crew, would have to sprint off screen and go vomit. And finally, this is one place on Earth you cannot visit. But before I get into that, you guys, I delve into a lot of darker things, so if you want something a little more positive, make sure you go peep my bio. You won't regret it. North Sentinel Island is an island off the coast of India. This place is widely known as one of the places on Earth you cannot visit. This is because the northern Sentinelese people who live there have become very aggressive to all visitors. They've also had very, very, very limited contact with modern civilization as we know it. Even when boats are going by, these people are known to throw spears and shoot bows and arrows at them. But there's a reason behind this.
Wow.
The people of the northern Sentinel Island were brutalized and abused by colonizers years ago. And this caused them to be very shut off from the rest of the world and be very aggressive towards visitors. And if we're being real, if that happened to you, you would do the same thing. And look, I know these are pretty dark even for me, but that's why.
Hit the nail on the head with the last one, but that's civilization.
Ellen Greenberg, pictured behind me, had over 20 stab wounds, but they classified it as suicide. Let's talk about why that is not the case. On January 26, 2011, there was a blizzard happening in Philadelphia. She worked there and wanted to go home, so she left her workplace. At 6:40 p.m. that same day, she was stabbed 20 times. 10 of those times were in the back of her neck and in her back. She also had 11 bruises on her right arm, her legs, and her abdomen. Now, despite these findings that the wounds were on her back and she had bruises all over her, the Philadelphia police classified this as a suicide. Now, the Philadelphia police and the homicide investigators said this was a suspicious case, and then they closed it and ruled it a suicide. So, in my opinion, I think a cover-up is going on here. Maybe someone powerful decided to pull a hit on her, or maybe one of the investigators or the Philadelphia police themselves were in on this. There's just no way this is a suicide. 20 stab wounds with 10 to the back of your neck and back, there's no possible way. And the bruising, like, come on. Obviously there was a struggle. Obviously there was some blunt force trauma. Ellen Greenberg's case needs to be reopened and reevaluated. Let me know what you guys think about this case in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
You guys think that was foul play?
Your life. Baby chicks, while very sweet, are often grinded up. In many large factories, if they're baby roosters, they're just tossed into a grinder. Pretty gross. Did you know that in the United States alone, every year, around 2,500 people die from using right-handed equipment that were originally left-handed? Sucks to be left-handed. George Bush Sr. was the only man to survive after his plane was shot down in World War II by Japanese soldiers. Out of the 9 men that were cannibalized and eaten on by Japanese soldiers, Bush was somehow the only one to survive. Hopefully you like boogers, because Inuit mothers actually suck the snot out of their baby's nose. Nasty. Did you know there's actually 200 corpses right now on Mount Everest? Due to the body's elevation, they're actually left up there and perfectly preserved to the extreme climate and temperatures. They're used as guide points for climbers and hikers. Comment and let me know which facts disturb you the most.
I think the fact that people use on Mount Everest, man, they know that there's corpses and all that stuff around. There hasn't been, like, I guess, any attempts to take them off the mountain. They just use them as marker places. That's seriously messed up. They need to take those corpses down, man. Those families deserve that. The more you know, man. That's it.
This is the truth about the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man.
Talk about it.
Okay, so the 4 ghosts in Pac-Man are actually programmed to act differently. The red ghost chases you the entire game and doesn't stop following you. The pink one just tries to position itself in a set way to block you off, so that the other 3 ghosts can catch you. Next up, the blue one just tries to ambush you in every single way it can, and is definitely the most aggressive one out of the 4. And next up, the orange one is random. It could either chase you the entire game, ambush you, or just sit in one spot and position itself. So, next time you play Pac-Man, keep this video in mind.
It's a little cheat code. If you know what the ghost
Let's talk about a disturbing upcoming horror game where you have to get rid of a princess instead of save her. Slay the Princess. And this one looks horrifying. Just like the title says, this is a narrative-based game where you have to slay a princess. And of course, this is not an ordinary princess. She's hiding a very dangerous and dark secret. Just make sure you don't listen to her when she tries to convince you not to get rid of her. The game promises to have many different branching paths involving the princess turning into all sorts of different horrific things. Will you save her just to see what happens, or will you wait around and see what her true form is? There's a free demo of the game out right now on Steam, and this is easily looking like one of 2023's coolest horror games. And of course, I'll be covering it when it releases.
Since it's already out, are you guys gonna check that out, Seekers?
This is a story that shows you how real death can be. In Islam, when a baby is born, God gives the baby a name, a written life story, and a date of death. And on the day of death, nothing and no one will stop the angel of death. This is a story of a Lebanese family, a mother and her teenage son. The son and his friends plan a trip after their high school graduation to celebrate. They were planning to fly to another country. He told his mom about this plan, but she was very scared for him. He was her only son. She felt like he was still too young to travel on his own with his friends. She begged him for weeks. She begged him not to go, but he insisted. The night before his morning trip, the son packs his bags and is ready to meet his friends at the airport the next morning. The alarm doesn't usually wake this boy up. He always relies on his mom to wake him up. So he asked her to wake him up at a certain time before the flight. The mother's heart had a wrong feeling about this. She decided not to wake him up. She wanted him to be late and miss this flight. His friends gave up waiting for him, and they eventually took that flight.
Okay.
The plane crashes only minutes after takeoff from a technical failure. She immediately sees the news that the plane her son was meant to take crashes, and there are no survivors. She finally runs to his room to wake him up and show him the news. But her son was already dead. He had a stroke in bed the same morning. Whether he took that flight or not, he was meant to die on this day. One piece of advice: when your mother has a wrong feeling about something, listen to her.
10 facts you didn't know that could save your life. If your house ever smells like fish for no reason, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's an electrical fire. If you're in a foreign country and you need to call for help, but you don't know the emergency number, call 112 and it'll automatically connect you to the nearest helpline. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If you ever wake up to the smell of gas, don't turn on a light. The spark from the light switch could blow up your entire house. Lying flat on your back is the best way to survive a falling elevator. If your hair ever stands up, duck and cover because you're about to be struck by lightning. If you ever fall off the edge onto the tracks, don't try and crawl back up. There's a crawl space built to go underneath in case this happens. If a deer runs across the road, it's better to hit it than swerve into the ditch. But if it's a moose, then it's better to swerve into the ditch, because hitting a moose is like hitting a brick wall. Even if you have no service, you can still dial 911. In an emergency, your phone will connect to the nearest tower. If you ever get kidnapped into the back of a vehicle, disconnect the brake light wires so the cops will pull them over. Then kick on the door to let them know that you're there.
I feel like there's some survival facts too. What the hell? These clips, bro. Wide array of information, man, off these clips we learned today. If you guys made it with me to the end, You're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification button, and most importantly, man, hit that like button, man, guys, please, so we can get into this algorithm, man. Just tick off. I know we're small right now, but thank you guys for trusting me and joining me on my journey. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, next month in August, I think we're gonna switch up the uploading schedule. It's not gonna be too different, but we're just gonna switch it up. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. You're helping us push us in the algorithm, man, so we can reach other peoples, man. We can reach other seekers who's seeking this type of content. So I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
This is why you should always change your locks. In 2017, a college girl woke up from a nightmare drenched in sweat and decided to rinse off before going back to sleep. She propped her phone on a shelf, turned on some music, and then hopped in the shower. A few minutes later, she reaches for her phone to change the song, but stops suddenly. Reflected on her phone's screen was a person standing in the middle of her bathroom facing the shower. She somehow kept her composure, turned the water to scalding hot, and then ripped open the curtain and sprayed the intruder in the face. As they howled in pain, she ran past them to her kitchen to get her butcher's knife. In a panic, she can't find her knife, so she just runs out of the apartment and calls the police. The police go in and come out with a crazy-looking woman in handcuffs. One of the officers comes over to the girl and says she used to live here and she had copies of your keys. Then he pauses and looks down and brings up a clear evidence bag that contained her butcher's knife, and he says, "Looks like she wanted her apartment back." There's something terrible.
What? So she wanted her apartment back, and because she had a copy of the key, she just went in there unannounced. Can somebody even do something like that, Seekers? Is that even legal? I don't think so, right? People are crazy in this world now. That's insane.
Horrifying going on at Chuck E. Cheese right now, and I'm going to explain it to you. So we all know about the game Five Nights at Freddy's, right? It's a game based around a restaurant that's pretty much like a Chuck E. Cheese where the animatronics come to life and wreak havoc on all the guests there. But what if I told you this was possibly happening in real life right now?
No way.
Just 2 days ago, 5 children have gone missing inside of a Chuck E. Cheese, and the parents reported a weird smell from the inside of the building. And then just like Five Nights at Freddy's, someone that worked the late night shift actually got killed after hours. Now these are all pretty weird, but here's the kicker right here. Check out this headline. Night shift workers from Chuck E. Cheese claim strange movement from animatronics post hours. So I don't know, what do you think about this? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? And I mean, with 2020 and everything going on, like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was real.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 1. When creating the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, they couldn't create skeletons that looked realistic enough, so they used real human skeletons. Since then, they've removed all but one. Ducks sometimes become cannibals due to boredom, meaning they kill and eat each other. This behavior begins as early as 4 weeks old. Crocodiles are capable of galloping, similar to a horse. Luckily, alligators cannot. And while we're at it, tarantulas can swim. It's extremely common after you die that there will be extreme gas buildup and you will burp after death. And sometimes dead bodies can even sit up on their own. Also, if a pregnant woman dies, the gas buildup in her body can actually forcefully push a baby out. In other words, a post-mortem baby bazooka. Hearing is the last bodily function to go after one dies. So it's very possible that the last thing you ever hear is the paramedic calling off your CPR.
This is why you shouldn't.
Those are some crazy facts we learn, Seekers, man. That's where you gotta tap in with us, man. I never in a million years would ever guess, man, that tarantulas can swim and he can, he said the alligators, they were galloping? What the hell? This is when they got an upgrade like that, man. I'm telling you, man, you tap in with us, Seekers, you're gonna learn some new information, man, daily.
Never stay in sketchy motels. In 2005, a young woman on a solo road trip across the country decided to stop for the night. The first place she sees is the Mountaintop Motel. It looked pretty cheap, but she was tired, so she said good enough. The check-in guy eyed her up and down very uncomfortably and then asked her if she was traveling alone. She ignores the question, pays for her room, and then walks away with the key. When she gets inside her room and sees there are literally cockroaches in her bed, she says nope and decides to sleep in her car in the parking lot. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up to see the check-in guy using his own keys to get into the motel room she was supposed to be in. A few minutes later, he storms out and slams the door and starts walking towards her car. Terrified, she hides under her blanket as the man tries to open her car doors but can't and walks away. She speeds off and calls her friend and asks her to look up the address of Mountaintop Motel so she can give it to police. Her friend's quiet for a second and then just says, the Mountaintop Motel closed a week ago. If someone offers you this, walk away. In 2016, a man was staying at his friend's cabin in the woods when he decided to go for an evening stroll. A little ways down the trail, he hears someone call out from behind his neighbor's house. He looks up and he sees this skinny guy pop out from behind the building who starts waving frantically at him to come over. Worried this guy could be in trouble, the man takes off running to assist. But when he gets close enough, the neighbor just offers him a fistful of Slim Jims and starts talking about how much he hates his wife. Sensing there was something wrong with this guy, he says no thank you to the Slim Jims and walks away. The next day, the man calls his friend who owned the cabin to ask him what the deal was with his weirdo neighbor. There was silence on the phone, and then his friend just says, I don't have any neighbors. The police are called, and it turns out his neighbor was really some lunatic who had recently killed his wife and had been hiding out in the abandoned cabin next door. This is why...
That's why, man, my parents always say, don't talk to strangers. Like, he could have been the next... He could have been next, man. He didn't even know. He just offered him some Slim Jim talking about how he didn't like his wife. Like, the signs were there, man. You gotta pay attention to what people say nowadays, man, because every time somebody says something, bro, and if it sounds weird, especially talking about how he hated his wife and just offered him Slim Jims, that's bizarre enough already. And you in the woods at that. He's a brave soul. I don't know how he did it. If I was in the woods, you see somebody you don't know, deuces, I'm out. You ain't getting me.
You always say yes to tandoori chicken. In 2012, a high school tutor and her student stayed up so late one night studying that by the time they were done, the buses had stopped running. Without another way home, the student asked if he could stay the night at her place. Reluctantly, she agreed. When they got back to the apartment, she fell asleep on her bed and he fell asleep on a blanket next to her bed on the ground. A few hours later, she wakes up to the boy standing awkwardly in the middle of the room with a very strange look on his face. She asks him, what's wrong? He looks at her and says, I'm really hungry, let's go get some tandoori chicken. Confused, she says, it's 2 a.m., just get a snack in the cupboard. And he grabs her by the arm and he says, no, we are getting tandoori chicken right now. And he yanks her from the bed. Feeling totally caught off guard by this whole situation, she goes into the hall with the boy, and as soon as the door shuts behind them, she can tell that he is terrified. He looks at her and just says, I'm not actually hungry. When I woke up, there was someone under your bed. This is why you should always trust your gut. In the early 1970s, a college student decided to hitchhike his way home after class. A car pulls up, a man offers him a ride, and he climbs in. As soon as the car started moving, the student felt totally uneasy, like something was wrong but he couldn't quite place it. Without saying anything, he waited till the next time they slowed down and he flung the door open and ran away. 2 years later, he's flicking through TV channels when he comes across this special interview with a death row inmate. And it's just the audio recording, so he hears the interviewer ask the inmate, why did you remove all the door handles inside of your car? The man just goes, well, the first time I tried to kill someone, I picked up a college hitchhiker who got smart at some point and jumped out of my car. So, lesson learned, remove all the door handles. When they showed his
he knew.
Picture, the student knew immediately that he was supposed to be the first victim of John Wayne Gacy, aka the killer clown, who had killed over 30 men and boys in his clown room and stuffed them into his basement. This is why you should always trust...
Sorry for pausing 2 times there, man, but I just had to explain this one, bro. That's why people say, man, when you have to trust your gut sometimes because, bro, your gut, it'll never steer you wrong, man. He had a feeling that something was off, man. As soon as he stopped, he jumped out the damn car. And look what happened. Flicking through the channels. And what came to pass? he was right on the money, man. You gotta trust your gut sometimes, bro. You just have to. Even if everybody's saying, "Oh no, bro." If there's a gut feeling, man, and you don't trust it, then just get away from that situation. That's actually one of the most insane stories you heard, Seekers.
Trust your gut.
Tap in with
In the
us.
1970s, a young couple decided to go for a late-night hike in the woods. A couple minutes into their walk, and the man remembers thinking something's not right. He tells his girlfriend, but they just decide to ignore it and keep going, until he steps on something that felt really soft, like it was alive. Before he has a chance to see what he stepped on, they hear all this rustling in the bushes next to them, and they bolt. Years later, that couple turns on the TV, and a death row inmate who's about to be executed is being interviewed.
Again.
And they ask him, was there ever a time that you were almost caught red-handed? He responded, yes, one time. I was in the woods, and a couple walked through, and the man actually stepped on the body of a girl I had just killed. I was hiding in the bushes just a few feet away. They didn't see me. That couple had run into one of the worst serial killers of all time, Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
So supposedly this is what the fallen angel Lucifer looks like. And this is what the moon looked like on March 31st, 2020. I don't know about any of you guys, but this is scary, especially with everything going on in the world right now. Pretty cool!
Let this be a
was
reminder
similar?
that there really are monsters out there. In 2007, a woman living right near a prison in California got home late one night and went right to bed. Around midnight, she woke up to footsteps on her first floor, assumed it was her roommate, so she goes downstairs to say hi. She yells out to her roommate, who doesn't say anything, and then in walks this giant man who she doesn't recognize. She runs upstairs, jumps in her closet into the crawl space and hides. As she's helplessly tucked away in this little crawl space, trying not to make any sound, all she hears is this giant man sprinting around her house, running into walls, flipping furniture, and screaming in frustration because he can't find her. Finally, after several hours, she slowly opens the crawl space back up, crawls out, and gets her phone off the nightstand and calls police. As she's telling the police her story, she describes the person who had broken in, and they stop her and say, "Ma'am, go back in the crawl space and stay there. We'll be there as soon as we can." It turned out a 6'11" convicted murderer had escaped the prison and was still on the loose.
Damn. She was living next to prison. I could never do that. I don't see how people can do that. I understand people need houses and stuff, but living next to a prison, that's just like asking for trouble. Because like I said, they have like direct access to the house, and as soon as they escape, they just gonna try to go into one of the people's houses. Word of advice, man, don't live next to a prison. I'm pretty sure I don't have to say that, but you never know. Is that an edit? Yeah, that's an edit. Call it like I see it.
If you scare easily, I wouldn't watch this video. In 2013, a mine explorer found this entrance to an abandoned mine and decided to go have a look around. He decides to film his experience and upload it to his YouTube channel, where he had uploaded hundreds of other videos of him exploring mines, but he never once references the paranormal or ghosts or anything like that until this video. As soon as he steps foot inside, he tells the camera that he has a really uneasy feeling about being there and wonders if he should even keep going, but he does. Everything seems pretty normal until he gets to a section in the mine where there's a bunch of chains hanging down from the ceiling. He hears something in the back of the tunnel, so he pulls his flashlight out and he shines it towards the back, and he sees a chain swinging, and it shouldn't be, because there's no draft and he's all alone, and you can tell he's scared by the way he starts talking. Although he's totally freaked out, he wants to know what's causing the chain to swing, so he goes farther and farther into the mine until he hears something. People whispering in every direction. He gets totally spooked and runs out. If you don't want to sleep tonight, watch the whole video. This is why you should never open your door for strangers. In 2013, a woman let her dog out to use the bathroom one more time before bed. After only a few minutes, she starts hearing scratching on her door, which is typically the sound her dog makes when he's ready to come in, but it just seemed way too soon for him to be done being outside. So she decides to look through the peephole to make sure it really is her dog, but what she sees is terrifying. A deranged-looking man is right outside her door, staring intently at her door handle, waiting for it to turn open. As she's looking in horror, unable to do anything, he starts scratching at the door as hard as he can, never leaving his gaze from the door handle. She manages to stifle a scream, she backs away and realizes her dog is still outside. So she goes to the side window, but there's no sign of her dog, and so she goes back to the door to see if maybe the man's moved. He hasn't moved, his mouth is open, and he's staring directly at the peephole. Then he turns around and walks away. With the man gone, she discovers her dog unharmed. His leash had just been cut. But that means he had a knife.
Terrifying facts about the ocean.
Damn.
Let's get into it. So we've explored yeah.
Damn, we didn't even get the terrifying acts of the ocean, man. We've seen a couple of them, man, but I was really excited to see what he had to say, man. These videos were like, I had to find these part 2s for y'all, man. I know y'all I see in the comments, y'all be irked like me too, man, when they don't finish off the story. I gotta do a deep dive and find these part 2s for y'all, man, but we're gonna find them. That's crazy, man. There's some crazy facts today, man. Heard some crazy stories. You guys, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker. Once again, thank you guys for supporting the channel, for subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button, man. Like I said, when you guys do those simple steps, man, that pushes us in the algorithm, man, we can connect with other people, man. We're growing. I see the progress we're making with each and every video, so I'm thankful for you guys. Like I said, we're going to continue to grind. We're going to continue to get better with each and every video. I'm doing daily uploads for you guys. You guys can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man. If you guys are tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every video. You guys are pushing us in the algorithm, man. Like I said, one day, man, we're just gonna go take off and explode, but gotta keep building our momentum up. Also, man, as you guys can see, I know I got a couple of comments on my shirt last time when I wore this, man. It really has my name, Daemon, but the A is kind of faded, so that's why it looks like that. Just to give you guys the explanation, because you guys know we ain't into that, man. But I found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best and seek the truth.
Married by this person who he thought was a woman. In 2023, this 26-year-old Indonesian man named AK met Adinda Kansa on Instagram, where they hit it off and eventually met in person and started their relationship. Throughout their relationship, Adinda wore a hijab that covered her head, her face, except for her eyes because of her religion. A year later, they got married and had a very small ceremony with only AK's family attending, and Adinda's family was not there because she said that her entire family had passed away. After they tied the knot, AK became extremely suspicious of his new wife because she constantly avoided any intimacy and was always making excuses. But also, AK said that Adinda was wearing her hijab at home at all times, so at this point he knew that she was hiding something. He then began searching for any information he could find on his wife, and that's when he found her old address, and when he went to go visit that home, he found her parents, which she said were dead. The parents told AK that Adinda is actually a man, and they had no idea that they got married. Adinda was arrested, and after an investigation was done, it was determined that he intended to marry AK so that he can steal his family's assets. Adinda was charged with fraud, and if convicted, he faces up to 4 years in prison.
Whatever you
guys think that should be the fate for all catfishers out there, man? Because that's basically what it was. We're gonna call a spade for a spade. That was a catfish. Like, how the hell? But how did he let it go that far, man? He got married to him and he didn't even know. That's mind blowing, man. If you're going on with somebody, man, you got to do your research nowadays. That's crazy.
You never go searching for this video. These 5 friends were forced to kill each other by the Mexican cartel. These 5 young, aged from 19 to 22, were looking for some sort of employment, and they were promised a high-paying job at a call center. But when the alleged contact was taking them to meet the people for the job, it actually turned out to be a whole scheme to recruit them to the Mexican cartel. And when all 5 of these boys said they didn't want to join, the cartel then said okay and tied them up, taped their mouth and took a picture, and then recorded one of the friends killing all the other 4 friends. And after that, they put the 5th one, who just killed all of his friends, into a car and set it on fire. I'm telling you right now, do not go searching for this video because you will find it. And trust me, you do not want to see something like this. This case is absolutely horrific, and the fact that this happens way more often than we think is just extremely scary and disturbing. It's just sad that these young men were just trying to get a job and make some money for themselves, but instead it turned into a living nightmare. Rest in peace, these 5 young men.
Here's one more reason to be terrified of the ocean. Of course it's scary when the sea is stormy, but according to Japanese legend, you should be more afraid of calm waters. Because that is when the umibozu is said to rise from the deep. This ghostly pitch black figure will not only scare you into a state of shock, but it will then throw you overboard and drown you in the sea.
It is criminal that no one knows what this guy is doing right now. A man is attempting to become the first person ever to walk the entire length of the United States barefoot. He started his over 5,000 kilometer walk in February, and as you'd imagine, his feet have already taken an absolute battering. He's already had to walk through snow, which he says was so cold that it makes every pebble feel like you're walking over a Lego brick. But if the cold wasn't bad enough, he will soon have to walk through the Midwestern summer heat, which will easily reach temperatures of over 100 degrees. And because of that, similar to Russ Cook running through the Sahara, he says that he's going to have to walk overnight because during the day, the paving will just be too hot. He's almost been hit multiple times by massive semi-trucks not paying attention and pushing him off the road. The nerve endings on his feet are so bruised from stepping on rocks that it keeps him up at night. He's had really bad infections that haven't had enough time to heal, because if he does take days off and doesn't make it to New York before the winter, he is screwed. And the part which just blows my mind, he's doing all of this to raise awareness for men's mental health, because he himself, after leaving the army, fell into such a deep depression that it led him to the edge of a cliff. But despite this amazing cause and what he's putting himself through, he has only 139 followers on TikTok and only 412 on YouTube. I mean, that should be illegal. He's got about 6 months of walking left to do. So please, let's show this man some support and push him through.
That's crazy, man. He's doing that for a good cause, and hopefully, man, just catches some fire, catches some heat, so more people are aware of that. Barefoot, too? That's a different type of breed right there, man.
Have you heard the creepy story behind this photo?
What?
She's been named the Expressionless. Well, the story takes place in June of 1972. Hospital employees were very shocked and scared when this woman entered the hospital wearing a blood-soaked gown. What was terrifying is that she had no emotion on her face. When the doctors went to sedate her to see what was wrong, she started to fight back. This is her in that very moment. Now, this is a creepypasta, but some believe that this photo is actually true and that this is a real creepy-ass woman. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Photos from his...
This is a real sign in a city called Davao in the Philippines, and there's a lot of history behind it. Now, as you can see in the sign, it says, "Waving children, please wave back," with a pair of children with their arms up. This sign serves as a warning to everyone passing by that there are ghosts of children in the area. It's believed there's a ton of supernatural activity all around the area, and if you don't wave back, these children will come and haunt you. Upon researching the story, I haven't found anyone reporting that they haven't waved back to any of the children. I've only heard accounts of people waving back and then being okay afterwards. So with that information in my head, I can only assume the worst happens if you don't wave back. So obviously, if you're traveling in the Philippines and you see a child wave to you, wave back for your own safety. The last thing you want is a ghost child following you and haunting you for the rest of your life. Let me know what you guys think about this. I also covered a video on the Aswang, which is another Filipino urban legend. Very scary stuff, definitely go check that out. And if you have any suggestions, let me know.
You guys waving back, man? I wouldn't want no ghosts, no spirits, bad energy, juju following me, so I'll have to wave back. I don't need that following me around.
This is a true horrifying story, part 32. In parts 25, 26, and 27, I warned you all about the most dangerous book that was ever written, Shams al-Ma'arif. This book is a portal to the world of jinns and demons. There's a person that read this book, and this person faces traumatic incidents every single day. She's a woman from Jordan. She graduated university being the top graded student. She is a genius. She has read hundreds of novels. She had a strong passion for books. She heard about this book called Shams al-Ma'arif. She couldn't live knowing that there's a book that has a strong story behind it without reading it. After many months of trying to find the real copy of this book, she heard about an old man that lives in Jordan that had an ancient copy of Shams al-Ma'arif. She got in touch with him, and he refused to sell the book, but she didn't quit. It took her many weeks to finally buy the book off of him. She goes back home and immediately starts reading the book. After she read the first few chapters of the book, she felt kind of hungry, so she decided to go to the kitchen and prepare some food and then continue reading. As she goes into the kitchen, she opens the oven and a gale of fire burns her face. She spent 3 weeks in the burn unit rehabilitation. The oven was switched off. No one knows till this day where the flames came from. She had multiple plastic surgeries to recover her facial features, but till this day, her face is not what it used to be. After recovery, she goes home weeks later and she looks for the book, knowing that the jinn was the reason she was harmed. She tried to find the book for many days, but it was lost. Years go by. She was home watching TV one day. She came across an Islamic channel that had a live interview program. An old man was being interviewed on this channel. He was asked by the imams about the dangers of a black magic book that he owns. His body was very unusual and his face was burned off. He got a book from under the table and he said this: "I once sold this book to a young woman a long time ago, and the demons warned me not to stop my rituals, and if I gave the book away, they would burn my face and they would burn hers. And after I gave the book, I woke up the next day without my normal face. And the book I sold to that woman was right there laying next to me on bed. I knew that it was the jinns that brought the book back to me. And this is when I strengthened my iman and I quit black magic." Quote, this was all said on TV, and the poor girl was just standing there, watching the same man speak. The man on TV was the man that gave her the book. The book he showed on TV was the book he handed to her. That was the book that was lost. The book that she was looking for.
Damn, it sounded like she got tempted by that knowledge. She just couldn't turn it down. Look what happened. Like some bad spirits was following her. Like the book, the part I'm trying to figure out is how the book, like, it just went back to the man's house. Did he take it back, or was it just there the next day? That's something to think about.
This is Tragedy by the Sea, one of the most disturbing and sad photos of all time. Okay, so first glance at this photo, you just think it's a couple arguing at the beach, right? But believe it or not, this photo might have the most unsettling and disturbing backstory ever. On the morning of April 2nd, 1954, Los Angeles Times photographer named John Gaunt, who was pictured in the middle of this photo, was relaxing on his front yard of his beachfront house when he heard a neighbor shout, "Something's happening on the beach." He then instinctively grabbed his camera and rushed over to see the horrified couple clutching each other on the beach. On the shore stood a young couple named Mr. and Mrs. McDonald, and their body language made John's stomach turn. He realized that someone must be lost, and he then took a photograph from 200 yards away. Only then did he learn that just moments before, the couple's 19-month-old son Michael, who had been playing in the yard, had wandered down to the beach and crawled into the violent waters while they weren't looking. Despite the back and forth efforts by the parents, there was nothing they can do but just wait. Unfortunately, later that day, the child's dead body was washed up about a mile away on the beach. And this photo, titled "Tragedy by the Sea," appeared on the front page of the Times the very next day. John Gaunt then won the 1955 Pulitzer Prize Award, calling the photo poignant and profoundly moving. But he also received heavy criticism for capitalizing on the family's tragedy for his photo opportunity. But now, take a look at this photo, knowing everything you do, and tell me it's not one of the saddest and most disturbing photos ever.
Let's talk about this picture. Captured in 2008 by Daniel Young, this is one of the only pieces of evidence that this encounter actually happened. So Daniel was a custodian at Myrtle Elementary School, where he worked the night shift. It's a pretty routine night. He's just listening to music when he's suddenly interrupted by the sound of a woman's laughter. He turned around and was terrified when he saw an unknown woman smiling from behind the corner. This was a locked school on after hours, so clearly she was an adult who broke in, so he tried to snap a picture to identify her and then chases after her. But when he turned the corner, she had already darted out of an emergency exit. Later that night, police are called to a home where they arrived at a tragedy. An unknown woman had broken into a nearby home where she knifed two parents, one who was the principal of this school, so brutally they were unrecognizable. One of the daughters who witnessed this woman before she got away described her as this person. Could this photo be of the same unknown woman? And what her connection is to the school and the principal, we don't know.
Most disturbing videos in the world, episode 6. This picture contains a list of disturbing videos from the least scary to the most. This will be my scariest series ever. Welcome to tier 7 because we skipped a couple of them. And honestly today, we're gonna skip directly to tier 10. The first video is titled Funky Town. This video single-handedly could be the worst video the internet has ever had. Now obviously I can't show the video here, but I can tell you everything you need to know about it. And please remember, don't look this up, trust me. It shows a man, you know, getting executed, in which they remove the man's face all while he's still alive. And lots of other stuff start happening, and in the background of the video, the song Funky Town starts playing. You know, this song? Yeah, that one. Make sure to like and follow, because I start my brand new series tomorrow.
Those videos, man, where they always have to like break it down and explain. It's always chilling, man, and I never looked. I take them at their word. I never looked it up because I don't need that in my mind. But the way they break it down with the details, especially about Sebastian on Tank 22, we know, man. Crazy to how people can even do that to another human being. Edit, man. You guys, I want to see y'all guys call out the edits, man, down below as well. If y'all guys can spot them out, because I might miss some too. Y'all can correct me, man. We all the community, yo. So.
This is the disturbing moment. This woman laughed in court after she took this 3-year-old's life in a random attack. On June 3rd, police received numerous phone calls about a stabbing at a grocery store parking lot in Ohio. At around 3 p.m. on this day, 38-year-old Margot Wood was loading groceries into her car while her 3-year-old son, Julian, sat in his car seat. That's when 32-year-old Bianca Ellis entered the car and began stabbing the little boy. When Margot noticed, she tried to stop the attacker, and as a result, she was also wounded. Julian was then rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away. Now, what's disturbing was that this was a random attack, and after looking at surveillance footage, the attacker was seen following the mother and the child in and out of the grocery store. Then, when Bianca was brought into court, the judge began reading out the indictment, and she was seen smiling and laughing the entire time. And after an assessment was done on Bianca, they're arguing that she has bipolar disorder and had a psychotic break, which explains why she did what she did. And this story only gets crazier. Before this incident, Bianca confessed to another murder in Bakersfield, and she even gave details of what she did with this person's body. She also warned officers that if she wasn't arrested, she was going to murder someone and eat their flesh. But none of this was taken too serious, and she was released from the mental institution, and not long after, she committed this heinous crime.
So, let's talk about the most disturbing animated film ever made that has been banned all over the world. 1992's Midori. Our main character is 12-year-old Midori. After her mother becomes extremely ill, she is tricked into joining a traveling circus. And these are some of the fine people that she is surrounded by every day. The film contains a lot of very explicit scenes of violence and other things towards young Midori. The film is also known for its animal content. When it was originally released, Midori was banned all over the world, including in its own home country of Japan. And I can definitely see why. I'm not kidding when I say this is probably the most graphic, strange, animated film that has probably ever been made. And this is most certainly not a film for a lot of people. It's a film I really don't feel like I can recommend, but there are lots of very interesting discussions around the morality of this film. And if you've seen this film, I'd love to know what you guys think of it.
Hell no, I didn't even know that film existed. It really was banned all around the world.
The man you just saw walking in that video was pedophile Jeffrey Doucette. Jeffrey was a 25-year-old karate instructor. Jeffrey gave karate lessons to young boys, and it's assumed that he did this to gain access to children because he was a pedophile. Now, at some point along the way, Jeffrey met the son of a man named Gary Plauché. Gary was a very protective father who loved his son dearly. And when Gary eventually found out that Jeffrey had been molesting his son for over a year, he was righteously angry. But Gary just wasn't going to let this slide. You see, for a year, Gary had trusted Jeffrey to take care of his son and teach him karate. But at one point, Jeffrey had abducted his son, taken him to a motel in Anaheim, California, and did absolutely unspeakable things to him. So that leads us to the infamous televised incident. On that day, Jeffrey was flown to Louisiana to face trial. There was a news team there waiting for him at the airport for when he arrived into the state, but there was somebody else waiting for Jeffrey there as well, Gary Plauché. I can't show you the full clip, obviously, but Gary was waiting for Jeffrey to walk down the hallway, and when he walked by him, he pulled out a handgun and shot Jeffrey, the man who molested his son, directly in the head. Afterwards, Gary gave himself up, dropped the gun, and he was initially charged with second-degree murder. But he entered a plea bargain and pled no contest to the manslaughter charges. He was then sentenced to 7 years of a suspended sentence, with 5 years of probation and 300 hours of community service, meaning that Gary spent no extended time in prison for the murder of the pedophile. To this day, people still sell merchandise with Gary Plauché all over it, as he has become a folk hero of sorts to people that hate pedophiles. If you want to hear more stories like this, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife Courtney. It's available to listen to now on all streaming platforms.
The more you know. I never knew they sell merch about that incident. I guess he was a hero in some people's eyes, man, because you know we don't know that over here, but that's an insane story.
The person you just saw in that video was former elected official and pedophile Stacey Marie Lofton. Stacey was the first openly transgender person elected to a state legislature anywhere in the United States. And people at the time in New Hampshire who elected Stacey thought that this was extremely radical. They were proud that they were inclusive and that they were giving power to an underrepresented population. However, Stacey would go on to do some terrible things. Because you see, in 2023, Stacey would be arrested and charged with possession of CP or CSAM. I still don't know the exact connection, but Stacey was arrested as well as this woman, a 38-year-old woman named Lindsay Groves. Now, Lindsay worked at a place called Creative Minds Early Learning Center in Massachusetts, where she worked closely with children. And apparently, Lindsay would use the bathroom breaks during the children's school day to take photographs of them. Photographs of them in compromising positions with no clothing on. Lindsay would then send these photos to the person she was in a relationship with, and I guess somehow some of those photos ended up in Stacey's possession. Now, I don't know what happened to Stacey after all of this, but I do know that it was reported that Stacey went to a prison for men. And yeah, this is just some really disturbing stuff. If you want to listen to more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife Courtney, Murder in America. It's available now on all streaming platforms.
It's always people in those positions, man. Power.
Number 10 is Saddam Hussein. We all remember Saddam. Number 9, Kim Jong-il, who is the uncle and the former leader of Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and he was even worse than Kim Jong-un. Like, even though Kim Jong-un is bad, like we got to step up from Kim Jong-il. I remember reading that he once fed his family to dogs. Number 8 is Genghis Khan, the guy, you know, the Mongolia Chinese wall, the Great Wall of China, forced everybody to do that. Number 7, Heinrich Himmler, one of the right-hand men in the Nazi Party, was just all around evil. Number 6, Pol Pot, terrible man, maybe was one of the most ruthless killers in history. Number 5, Mao Zedong, the terrible emperor of China. Number 4, Osama bin Laden, the fool who committed 9/11 and went in hiding, and then we all forgot about him until Obama was like, we're actually going to go get him now, and I was like, thank God. Number 3, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler is the basis for the character of Dracula. His middle name was Dragula, and he was known for impaling his victims on sticks and posing them in front of the castle. Number 2, Joseph Stalin, who was the leader of Russia during World War II, and he was basically one of the most ruthless killers as well. He had concentration camps for the Russians that didn't support him, and millions of people died under him. If you like this list or want more lists about other nonsense, follow me. Leave me a comment with the most evil person in history in your book. Also follow my Instagram and fiance Samantha, who I've tagged. Number 1, I can't even say his name on TikTok, but we all know who it is. Evil Austrian mustache man.
Think twice before you answer the door on Halloween night. On Halloween night in 1984, a pregnant mom named Doreen Herbert heard the doorbell ring. She opened the door to find someone in a wolf mask holding a machete. This was like a scene straight out of a horror movie, and she was viciously slaughtered in front of her 4-year-old daughter. Special attention had been made to harm the fetus as well, and it was found under this chair.
Luckily, when the attack started, her daughter hid behind the couch, and then the man in the wolf mask paced around the house looking for her. The man in the mask shouted that if she said anything, he was going to come back and kill her too. Crime scene investigators noticed a trail of blood leading from the house down the sidewalk and across the freeway to a nearby neighborhood. This attack happened shortly after her husband left to go to the store, and he came home just a few minutes after she died. But luckily, officers did their due diligence. Looking into Doreen's past, they found out she had a tumultuous marriage with her ex-husband, Michael Dennis. And they actually had a child that drowned under Doreen's supervision in 1980. 2 years later, this distraught ex sued Doreen for the death of their child but lost in court. And just hours after the murder, the police paid a visit to Michael Dennis. He was calm and collected and gave consent to search, but as he reached out to sign the form, they noticed a gash on his hand. He said he got this injury from carving pumpkins the day before, but they noticed that the blood was still clotting.
Nah.
He began to walk detectives up towards his bedroom and lunged towards the bed. And they were luckily able to tackle him before he grabbed his revolver. And also inside the house, they found blood near the washing machine, and blood was all over his car door handle and steering wheel.
Caught him.
His past girlfriend also said that the previous Halloween, he went to a party wearing a wolf mask, pictured here. Michael Dennis was charged for the death of Doreen and her unborn child. And due to the brutality, he was actually given the death penalty. Michael Dennis had never moved on and hated Doreen for finding love and having another. And I have to say, if you've lost a child, Halloween is probably a really difficult day to look outside and see kids running around everywhere. But that does not excuse his actions. Let me know what case you want me to cover next and follow for more true crime.
It is wild. This is actually happening. Celebrities are now losing thousands of followers in an unprecedented TikTok trend where people are deliberately blocking the rich and famous so that they lose their sponsorships, their brand deals, and ultimately money. And you know what? It's working. So here's how the blockout trend started, and more interestingly, why. This is Hailey Bailey. She's a model and a content creator, and she doesn't know it yet, but she's about to trigger a massive digital revolution against the world's celebrities and herself, all with one video.
Let them eat cake.
But to understand why what she did here caused so much outrage, we need to go back to the 1800s. I'm not even joking. The Queen of France in 1774 has somehow triggered a massive revolution on TikTok in 2024. Marie Antoinette was actually the last queen before the French Revolution, because at a time when the country was in extreme debt and the people were living in poverty and famine, Marie was seen living a lavish lifestyle and spending huge amounts of money on unnecessary things. For example, she was best known for her extreme looks and love for fashion. Her annual clothing budget alone was equivalent to today's $3.6 million. That's $300K a month. But ironically, what she is most remembered for is the time that she was told that the public were starving and they didn't have enough bread to eat, to which she replied, "Let them eat cake." And I say it's ironic because it's believed that she never actually even said this. Regardless, the public's anger grew and led to a revolution and ultimately her execution. So back to 2024 when Hailey Bailey dressed up as Marie Antoinette and used a trending sound saying "let them eat cake" while outside the Met Gala, where tickets cost more than the average down payment for a house. She quickly became the modern Marie Antoinette and triggered the blockout revolution. Now since then, she has apologized and said she didn't know the implications of that quote before she used it. And while the anger started with just her video, with one of the top comments saying "we're giving you the Marie Antoinette experience," it quickly grew to all of the celebrities that attended that event and beyond. The Hunger Games societal disparity became the movement theme, with hundreds of people commenting "watching from District 12. Creators started making videos showing off their own daily celebrity block lists, and the people who joined the trend say that the movement is simple. Just like how the French people's taxes were funding Antoinette's lavish lifestyle while they starved, today the public's attention is often what funds these celebrities' lifestyles. And so people say if they're using this attention money similar to Antoinette on massive unnecessary displays of wealth, or while people around the world struggle and starve, that attention and therefore money will be removed. And that's how and why the block trend started. So the question is, do you agree with this trend, or are people taking it way too far?
I ain't gonna lie, nah. The blockout trend, man, we need to get on that. I didn't even know about that. I mean, I guess it kind of applies. I guess it should go for like certain people, certain celebrities, because you know some people help. But she said "let them eat cake," but she knows she was at the Met Gala saying she didn't know, I guess, the meaning behind that quote. But you're at the Met Gala, like that's an expensive place to be at. You saying that, so the stories kind of don't add up. But hey, man, people, they trying to take their power back, man. Like, because if you think about it, what he says, right? Like, if you follow a celebrity or you're giving them attention, you're funding their lifestyle. You're giving them all that money. So that goes to show you, man, when people say they're doing a celebrity blockout, if you block it and you're supporting them, man, that's going to cut like the sponsorship money and stuff in half. So, hey, man, people got to understand, man, we people, man, the ordinary people, we got the power if we band together. Crazy, man. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker, seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. Follow me on all my social medias down below. Like I said, man, we're posting every single day, so I really appreciate the support. Guys, can catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from TikToks to YouTube videos to IG Reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button, man. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple steps, pushing us in the algorithm, man. We're finding other seekers, so I appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seek the truth.
The curdling facts that you wish you never knew.
Tell us about
Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
Tap in, you're gonna learn some
disturbing
facts with us.
that will ruin your life. There used to be real human remains in the Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean ride. There are at least 200 corpses on Mount Everest. There is no physical evidence to say that today is Sunday. We all just have to trust that someone has kept count since the first one ever. The human brain not only named itself, but it also recognized that it named itself, and was surprised when it realized that. No one knows exactly how anesthesia works anytime they put you under for a routine operation. There's currently no scientific explanation for why you are unconscious. Hit the plus sign if these disturb you.
That last one got me about the anesthesia. So we're pumping our body full of medical supplies and stuff, but we don't even know how it truly works or functions. What happens if something goes wrong or something like that and they can't detect what's going on because they don't know the full extent of anesthesia? I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong, but you guys know what I meant. That actually shocked me, but that we still don't know the full effects of that. That's mind-blowing if you really think about it, man. And the fact that the brain named itself? Let's continue, man. Crazy.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all.
Oh, man.
If a person dies in their costume at Disney, like Mickey Mouse, they have to be sat down on a bench so it looks like they're resting. Climate change is making spiders bigger. Some female spiders allow their young to eat them alive. Tooth in the eye surgery is when surgeons put a tooth in a blind person's eye to restore their sight. It was pioneered in the 1960s, and it actually works, and it's still being done today. The chances of a successful CPR outside of a hospital is only 7%. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. When you suddenly wake up during the night without any reason, there was someone or something staring at you. Yeah, there's a lot more, like for part 12.
Tap in, man. Especially about the part with the cell phones. That's actually crazy. Watch where you put your cell phone at. It's dirtier than the toilet seat, man. I gotta disinfect my phone daily
The
now.
5 countries in Africa with the strongest juju.
Okay.
At number 5, we have the Republic of Congo. Here, witchcraft is said to be practiced across all ages in the region.
Ooh.
In fact, in a 2013 report, a staggering 50,000 children were accused of witchcraft in the Republic of Congo. Most of the accusers claimed that these children had showcased bad behavior and were therefore possessed. Number 4, Kenya. The practice of witchcraft is said to have become so prominent in Kenya that it has been commercialized. In just about every suburb of Nairobi, you will find at least one advert, hand-painted on a little plate nailed up on a pole, advertising the services of a witch doctor. There are also numerous stories of Nairobi women using these witchcrafts to secure men. Number 3, Malawi. In Malawi, there are 2 districts where it is said that the residents partake in advanced levels of sorcery. It is rumored that there are men there who possess the power to travel from Malawi to the USA in seconds. Number 2, Zambia. It is said that the practice is very alive and well in Zambia. There have been several reports of severely sick Zambians who were healed completely after a quick visit to their local witch doctor or traditional healer. Number 1, Nigeria. Nigeria's exploits in this regard has gathered a lot of media attention over the years, with people said to be using witchcraft and sorcery to attain wealth, secure wealthy partners, and battle enemies. Fourth one.
Here's what would happen if you were born on a plane. Let's say you were born on Turkish Airline. They would have to pay your tuition and you would have free tickets for life. And while flying over a country, you would immediately become a citizen of that country. That's cool. However, in special cases, the airline you are on will also grant you their citizenship. So hopefully, you're on a good airline.
So if you're born over, like, so I'm guessing if you're born on a plane or you're going over the country, you become a citizen. They said they have to pay for your tuition and get a free passport there. People about to be saving money, man. Whoever had their freaking I guess kid on a plane where they get dual citizenship. I never knew that.
This is the last thing anyone expected. Just within the last 24 hours, footage of where Ryan Garcia had claimed to be kidnapped has just been released.
Oh, they took me to the woods, bro, and they tied. I'm not joking, bro. I have proof, bro. I don't give a.
Oh.
Bro, I will show you every video you could ever believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They tied me down and they made me watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a anymore. Yes, I lost it. There'll be little kids.
Now this is exactly why you can't be playing both sides, because after this video and audio footage was released, he had tweeted on how he has been going through some intense spiritual attacks and constantly fighting demons. And even if you look at one of his most recent conference gatherings, you can see him manifest from one person to another.
First, I want to give glory to Jesus Christ. I want to invite the Holy Spirit to come. I do drink. I do smoke. Now what? Alright, what if I came up there and I fuck out of you, motherfucker?
The orange cat, who was accepted by a herd of capybaras at a Malaysian zoo, has received his own official signage and is now an official resident of the capybara habitat at Zoo Negara. The cat's name is Oyen, and it's believed he lost his mother as a kitten, but he found his family in the capybara habitat, and he seems to think of himself as just another capybara. And the capybaras are just as comfortable with Oyen, happily welcoming him into the herd. He's been seen within the habitat for the past several years, and over time he's become so popular that some people visit the zoo specifically to try to catch a glimpse of him. Because he's such a beloved resident of the zoo, and he's made clear that he intends to stay with his capybara friends, he finally received his official signage in front of the habitat last month. Now, the capybara habitat is officially Oyen's home. Zoo staff has indicated that Oyen and the capybaras are happy and healthy with no signs of distress, so they're happy to let the friendship continue. And while Oyen has been spotted snacking on some leafy greens with his friends, he is fed his own cat-friendly diet by the zoo. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day. And you can see more from Oyen and the capybaras on Zoo Negara's account, which is tagged and in the caption.
It's crazy. He just integrated himself with the herd. Guess that goes to show you, doesn't matter who or what you are, man. Become part of that herd, they'll accept you, what you are.
There are 800 dead people in this lake.
Come
That
again?
got your attention, didn't it, you sick son of a bitch? This is Roopkund Lake in the Indian Himalayan mountains. And this remote alpine valley is home to the skeletons of between 300 and 800 individuals. Their bones lie scattered along the lakeshore and constructed into grotesque sculptures by passing hikers. Since its discovery in the 1940s, countless papers, studies, and theories have been put forward to answer one simple question. What happened at Roopkund Lake? Why did so many unfortunate souls lose their lives in this remote mountain pass, and what happened to them? Now, if you've heard of this, you may think you're familiar with the answer, that it was a group of pilgrims that were struck down by hail. Recent studies have uncovered that the truth is much, much stranger. So tonight we're going to go over this mystery from top to bottom. Try and finally answer the question, what happened at Roopkund Lake? YouTube channel, Mini Minute Man. You only see me from short form content? Come check it out. It's like short form, but a lot longer. I'm gonna go put on my wetsuit, and I'll see you there.
Part 24
Man, what
is one of the
happened?
most horrifying stomachanophobia things I've ever seen in my life. This guy is named Brickley, and he's at Disney Springs, and he is a gigantic, huge, 50-foot long, 25-foot tall dragon entirely made out of Legos.
Whoa.
A lot of people, he might not be scary. He's kind of silly looking, but the fact that he is absolutely ginormous is actually horrifying to me. His massive head alone is about twice the size of a human being. Nope. He's also made of about 3 million Lego bricks. I know you think like, oh, I could deck him. I could just make him explode. I'm pretty sure he's glued together with like super glue, so you couldn't do that. That was definitely my first thought, that I could take him in a fight. Also, he's been there for about 30 years, so you can see the corrosion starting. I can't imagine what it looks like underwater. How about this? Does this scare you, or is it just silly?
It's been there for over 30 years? I wonder who built him.
Never say this out loud, or you will die. There's a cursed Japanese poem called Tornado's Hell. And supposedly, if you read it out loud, you will die or be cursed for life. Now, you can read it in your head. This is where things get crazy. A man named Suji Teriyama decided to make and direct a movie based on the poem. Exactly 1 week after the release of the movie, he suddenly dropped dead. By the way, y'all, I asked y'all to name our new baby, and the highest voted name was Steve. So I guess when this guy hatches, his name will be Steve.
Since we got this baby together, you do owe me child support.
Now this other story is also crazy. There was a schoolgirl that was dared to say the poem out loud. Look, you got friends daring you to do stuff like that. You need to get rid of them. Literally 1 week after doing the dare, she suddenly dropped dead.
Woo, look at that, baby. Look at that. Sheesh.
I flashed the poem somewhere in this video, but I'm telling you, if you find it, don't read it out loud. Or I'm gonna come to your funeral and tell everybody you're stupid. You're stupid.
I ain't reading that poem. Too many bad energy, too many bad signs.
The Power of Time. This sculpture at an abandoned cemetery in Poland is slowly being absorbed by a tree. The
Whoa.
black spots on this dog faded over 10 years. I didn't know it could happen. Bones now versus phones 20 years ago. Which one would you pick?
Ooh.
This father and his daughter and cat 10 years apart. Adorable. These two brothers returned to Chernobyl and recreated the same pictures after 30 years. And the tiny car was still there. Subscribe for more.
How the hell did they get into Chernobyl? Isn't that where that it's like one of the most radioactive places on Earth? How the hell were they able to travel there? Were they even a lot let inside there? It's crazy. And everything was still the same 30 years later. It goes to show you, man, how nothing's around that place. It's completely desolate. There's the sky, man. We know we can spot the edits, man. When we see these clips, we can spot them, bro. We experts now.
Oh shit!
What the fuck?
Yeah, that video's fake, but this is as real gets. Proof that dinosaurs never left, they just rebranded with feathers. Allegedly, this is a stellar sea eagle. Many would say the biggest eagle on Earth, although some would like to have a word. Matter of fact, here's the biggest eagle in your area code based on where you live. South America, you get the homicidal hippogriff, the harpy eagle. A buckbeak-coated middle finger to the food chain. Nature gave them short wings, and they used them to commit flybys in the dense jungle. They also have claws that could dap up a grizzly bear. With America, we got the golden eagle, also known as a final destination for goats and chamois. That's a chamois. This bird will make an honest attempt on the life of anything with a pole.
bulls, which is why they have a hit list of over 400 animals. The African crowned eagle is like the harpy of the motherland. Same short wings, same claws, same problems. They've also allegedly murked small children, and the famous Tongues child, which you see right here, is widely believed to have been escorted off the census by an African crowned. Wedge-tails are the dinosaurs Australia deserves. Not only will they run fades with kangaroos, they'll fly anything in their presence, and you're liable to get drone strike. This is the Philippines eagle. If you've never been flexed on by a bird, get absolutely mauled. It's a monkey eater that also has an argument for being the biggest op in the sky. Although they're in danger, so really they should be afraid of us. Moral of this video, the most devious trick dinosaurs ever pulled was convincing you they left in the first place.
Have you heard about this man who passed away while squatting 400 pounds? 33-year-old Justin Vicky was a bodybuilder and personal trainer with more than 30,000 followers on Instagram. Justin was a regular at the Paradise Gym in Bali, but on July 15th, 2023, he attempted to squat a total of 400 pounds, but things went horribly wrong. Mind you, this was all caught on camera, but I don't want to upload it because of TikTok's policies and I don't want this video to get taken down. But basically, during one of Justin's sets, he failed to lift the bar back up and it snapped his neck. He only had this person spotting him, which a lot of people have said that he should have had at least 2 other people on both sides to support him in case something like this happened. This video shows the moment Justin falls forward and his neck gets crushed. It was reported that the force of the weight broke Justin's neck and compressed the vital nerves that connected to his heart and lungs. He was rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away.
You know, I don't think I really hate any animal. Every animal has a purpose, except this. I hate this bird, I hate everything it stands for. In fact, if he had an Antarctic Antichrist in its cast, that movie would have been a snuff film. This is a giant petrel, but if you're a sailor, you probably know it by its street name, the Stinker. Because this satanic seagull on steroids is a meal plan of rotting, decaying, disease-ridden foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. And like an air-conditioned vulture, they have the same table manners, meaning they'll pull up to a corpse and start eating it from the softest point. So if you ever peep this flying, confident, red-faced Noah just got done tossing an expired elephant seal salad, which makes their choice in self-defense somehow more offensive. Press a petrel or its kid and it'll projectile vomit vile-smelling corrosive stomach oils right to the face. Oils that are so acidic they can actually strip the waterproof coating off other birds' feathers. You know, I said vultures, and that's not fair. These vultures usually wait for you to die. Petrels do no such favors. Penguin paralysis demon will snatch up miners like Dan Schneider and rip them open alive. And remember, the Stinker will pull organs right out the poop chute. The freeze-dried booty bandit has been known to drown other birds like the Australian gannet. You wanna know what this predatory prostate exam is? This is if hyenas had wings. And don't think they just go after chicks. If they find an injured penguin, they will personally speedrun the process. Well, actually not speed, because again, the anal undertaker don't wait for you to pass tense. It's like the booty warrior from Boondocks came back as a bird. Blights in the animal kingdom with a negative rice purity score with a wingspan that can reach a shack. Alright, I'm done. They're not that bad. I just don't like the way they sound.
They're crazy, man. That's Black Air Force energy right there.
The red heifer sacrifice ritual. What is it really? Let me summarize this for you.
Okay.
In Judaism, Jewish people are impure, and for them to be purified, they must sacrifice a very rare breed of red cows known as the heifers. Now, the cow must pass a certain list of criteria, like having no spots, never bred, must be a certain age, doesn't have black or white hairs, etc., etc. And then afterwards, they must light this cow on fire, involving some cedar wood and sage. I'm not really aware of the technicalities. But then they use the ashes of this cow for purification of the Jewish people. This sacrifice ritual must be done in Jerusalem, facing the third temple location, which is the Aqsa Mosque. These cows are super rare. The last time this ritual was done was 2,000 years ago. Israel has found 5 cows that meet this criteria in Texas. They bought them for $500,000 and then flew them to Israel over a year ago. And the sacrifice will commence in Jerusalem before the 8th of April, which is next week. But what is the purpose of this sacrifice ritual? Number 1, purification for Jews. And number 2, the coming of their Messiah. And to us Muslims, this Messiah is the Dajjal, the Antichrist. It is not the Messiah that we await. This is not an ordinary sacrifice. This is a sacrifice to the devil. I'm sure some of you will say in order for the Dajjal to come, he's not supposed to be mentioned in the minbar for many years. But I can argue with that because the Dajjal has not been mentioned on the minbar in most regions for many, many years. So is he coming?
Okay.
Probably, yes. If they do the red heifer sacrifice, destroy the Aqsa Mosque, and build a third temple, he will come.
A lot of information, man. Of those clips that were shown to us. It's crazy.
This is the scary story about the woman in the night. A young man moved into an apartment building. The first night he slept in his new apartment, he was woke up by somebody knocking on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. He got up and opened the door, and standing there was a young woman. She apologized for waking him up and told him that she was his neighbor. She said her husband was beating her and asked if she could spend the night on the sofa. The man felt bad and let her stay the night even though it seemed strange. The next morning, he checked the living room and discovered that the woman was already gone. He assumed that her husband and her made up. But that night, at the same time as before, the same girl was knocking on the door. The man opened it and she said her husband had beaten her up again and wondered if she could spend the night on the sofa again. He said yes, and the next morning when he got up, the woman was gone again. The man grew suspicious and asked his landlord about the strange neighbor. The landlord's face grew pale and said nobody lives in that apartment. He said a woman who lived there died 1 year ago after being beaten to death by her husband.
So what the hell was going on? Was he like communicating with a spirit or something? Someone's playing like a sick joke because he kept coming to the apartment like the same night after night at the same exact time, dude. Is that just a story? Got a lot of theories swirling around in my head right now after that clip played.
They kidnapped her for 44 days straight. Damn. The whole time, the 44 days, they were torturing her during these 44 days. It wasn't just those 3 guys that tortured her. Yeah, Denzel told me about it. Oh my. Yeah. Yakuza, there was at least 100 Yakuza members who came and helped torture. Yeah. One day, she caught them slipping, got the phone, tried to call the police. One of the guys saw, slapped the phone out of her hand, and he was mad, right? So I think they took lighter fluid and burned parts of her. Right? The crazy thing is, she survived that. No way. Yeah, a couple days went on. They were playing a game. The girl beat the guys at the game. They're even more mad. They're like, what the fuck? So her again. This is when she died, and then I think to end the story, they put her in this little like casket thing where there was cement, and they buried her alive. I think the police found out the main guy, he was locked up. Yeah. But the other guys, the police didn't want to put out the names because they're all minors. That did the shit. So they're all free right now. Damn. Yeah.
Terrifying sounds extinct animals used to admit, and the last one's the worst. If you don't know this extinct mega chicken, you must be living your life under a rock. This is a dodo bird. 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, and a pair of chicken wings that are more useless than a penguin's. It can make an omelet for a family and produce a sound that would cause me to move to Mars. The lizard that got into your bag of trend, the velociraptor. Or should I say Jurassic Myth, because they didn't look like this at all. Hollywood lied to you.
Oh.
At least the film's fuck-up looks more like a Utah raptor. This is actually what a velociraptor looks like. It's basically also just a giant chicken. Moving 25 miles per hour and hunting in packs isn't the scary part. It's the way they sound. The only difference between this next animal and my meat is that it went extinct, the Titanoboa. And if this BGC's length at 50 fuck-no feet isn't impressive enough, how about its 3 feet in girth? This twisty telephone pole could squeeze at 400 psi, crushing any 20-foot crocodile that lived at the time. And this no-bro makes a sound like no other. The extinct blubberbuzz that used to swallow the megalodon, the Leviathan whale. This living sea monster is a distant cousin of our daily sperm whale. Except unlike the living load we have today that primarily consumes giant squid, the Leviathan had no predators and ate everything. And the sound alone is enough to terrify me. Congratulations, you made it to the final animal. And I'm sorry you have to hear this, but the T-Rex doesn't actually look this way. Real-life Reptar looks much more terrifying with a haircut like Grandpa. And boy, do I have news for you. Their arms weren't useless. It said that they could have bench pressed up to 400 pounds. And did I mention they can also swim? The sound they made is weird, but the closest relative they have alive today is also weird. It's the chicken. I'm so sorry it had to end this way. Enjoy.
What? T-Rex true sounds, bro? That's crazy to even think about, man. I had never knew the T-Rex and the chicken or like, I guess, relatives or distant relatives. And the designs I'm about to see, we seen the all the Jurassic Park movies, man. Shit, they know it's Hollywood, so you know they was probably gonna like lie on the designs. But I guess if you show the designs of the Jurassic Park movie and the true, like, actual T-Rex, or like I said, the Velociraptors, they're completely different, man. It goes to show you how much freaking Hollywood has, like, brainwashed people, man. People just take it for what it is. You gotta do your actual own research. See, crazy. If you guys made it with me to the end, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Tell me down below, guys, what you guys think of these clips that we reviewed today. Also, man, tell me down below what can I also do to improve the channel. I'm always looking to improve, so I appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. The super thanks is also available. I turned that on. We're continuing to grind, man. We're gonna continue to post daily. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.